Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast. And we are looking at play-up props here on Tuesday in the NBA Cup opening games here, Nate. We are going to be looking at those play-up props throughout this slate. Also have best bets up in a separate episode, so make sure you do check that out and continue to follow along all season with us by subscribing to that page. Nate, let's not waste any time here. We missed out on Monday with the Veterans Day stuff, but we got a nice slate here for Tuesday, so let's jump right into it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the most debated guy here on the slate, Joel Embiid. Over 24.5 points is available at FanDuel at minus 105. Most books are laying that as his core line, but this is an alt line at FanDuel. I think it's going up a little bit. But look, we haven't heard any official word yet from the Sixers about minutes restriction. He's definitely not going to play tomorrow night. He stated as much. He's not playing back-to-backs. So, he might have been good to go 3 games ago, but he got suspended. So we don't know where the health is at either. Like, he might be totally fine in practice. And even if he only plays about 30 minutes, like, this guy's a point a minute. Like, that is his thing, especially against Karl Anthony Towns, who doesn't have the protection of Rudy Gobert anymore. And I believe he dropped 51 on both those dudes the last time he had the opportunity. Yeah. Last time he played Minnesota with just Cat, 34 points on 10 for 18 in just 31 minutes. So, that's probably what we can project here is 30-ish minutes for Embiid, maybe more. I don't know where his head's at in terms of, like, I was targeting this game. I want to play at home in the NBA Cup. I want to lift up this team that has been struggling so freaking much. But really, it doesn't matter where his head's at because he's just a bucket. Like, he's just absolutely unstoppable, especially inside the arc. And your Knicks, which just still haven't figured out their defense, are dead last in opponents' 2-point percentage. Cat is not a true 5 at this point, or he's done a good job at times, but there's a lot of scenarios where he gets into foul trouble. He just doesn't have answers for Embiid, where Embiid is just cooking. And look, I like Jared McCain as well. I haven't seen any props up yet for him, but I think, both those guys, him and Paul George, are kind of settle into better roles with the main guy back. We talk a lot about targeting Maxey when Embiid's actually when he comes back, because the books give you more value, and McCain is kind of in that Maxey role now. Kyle Lowry, Kelly Oubre, they ain't cutting it in terms of being secondary, third scorers, but McCain has looked very good in his limited opportunities. So we'll see where he's at, but if it's pretty low, like 14 points, which I think you might project at, I think you can take him as well.
Yeah, for sure. Cat, plenty of people have probably seen the stat floating around now, but Cat has allowed opponents that he is guarding to make 32 of 35 field goal attempts this season. That is 91.5% field goal percentage to his opponents. So Joel Embiid will have his pick of the litter, if you will be allowed to take whichever shots he wants to. Cat's not a defender, not a good defender, never been a good defender. Embiid will probably see the free throw line. This is going to be the Knicks' downfall, is that the opposing center is going to live at the free throw line if they can score at all. And KP is just going to do him dirty when he gets out there. Like, it's troublesome for the Knicks. This is not, like you said the other day, this ain't your older brother's Knicks. 2-3 years prior to this one. This ain't a defensive team right now. And I've kind of been talking about that with guys since the offseason. It was like, you don't have Mitch Rob. iHeart was at least a net neutral, if not positive, on defense. Now you've got the net negative. And so, opposing centers who can score, like the best opposing big man scorer in the league. I'll say that. I'd rather have him scoring at the end of the day, even than Jokic. But we'll see what happens with the minutes. I don't think he needs 30 minutes to get 25 points against this team if he's going to be taking as many shots as we anticipate. Paul George also still not really healthy. I think Paul George's assists is probably a better play. I think we look at some big booty Lowry stuff playing off of Joel Embiid. He knows how to play off Joel, so I think that 2-man game will be pretty good. He's been seeing about 33 minutes per game for Kyle Lowry in the last few, so just something to consider. Like, things are now going to be revolving around the sun that is Joel Embiid on offense. So I'm with you on this one, as much as this is debatable with the minutes. But let me go to Yanni Boo-Boo, Giannis Antetokounmpo, over 6.5 dimes, still available. Get it while the getting's good, though, and I'm sprinkling 0.2 units on a 5-to-1 triple double. And I really thought this was going to be closer to 10-to-1, like 8-to-1, 10-to-1. But I'm biased because I sprinkled on Giannis triple-double in all 8 games that he played without Dame last year. And that's what this bet is completely predicated upon. He hit it twice, by the way. 2 triple-doubles in 8 games without Dame last season. It's all about the assists. You know he's getting the double-double in the points and rebounds. You highlighted that 30 points and 10 boards for him is a good look around even money as a little same game parlay for him, because he's going to come out firing, and we know that he can score, and we know that he can rebound. So those are great. I think the assists are a little bit underlooked here because of the fact that if you look at what he does without Dame, he's point Giannis. Plus, we got no Chris Middleton, so he's extra point Giannis out there. No more Campaign or anybody like that that's been there as backup point guards in the last couple of years. Really ain't no backup point guard. Right now, Andre Jackson Jr., I believe, is listed as the backup point guard alongside, some Pat Connaughton. Like, it's Giannis. Giannis is going to be the point guard of this team. He's going to have all the touches. He's going to have the most passes made. He had 16.8 potential assists per game in 8 games without Dame last year. So granted, the shooting for this team worries me a bit because it hasn't been that good this year. It's a big problem. It's a big reason Dame's taking 15 freaking threes per game or whatever he's at this point. But I still think that there's going to be wide open shots because you have to build that wall against Giannis, who's going to be barreling downhill more often than not in this game, as that's his go-to, and he's going to have the ball in his hand. So this is going to be a Giannis type game. Without Dame, they also get out into transition a little bit more than they do with him, and aren't really looking for him, obviously, to get into the half court, which is good for this team, to be honest, because they're not very good in the half court right now. So with Giannis getting out into transition, also with the way that the Raptors play the corner, that's going to be open for him for guys like Pat Connaughton in this game. He is going to have some corner threes. The Raptors bottom 5 in limiting corner threes, and the Bucks are taking they're in the top 5 in terms of the attempts from the corner for them. So that's a good spot for him to find some guys. And this Raptors team, they allow the 9th most assists. They allow the most assists per game to power forwards, which can also be a little bit misleading because is he even going to be considered a power forward in this game? Either way, what's his matchup? RJ Barrett? That's the power forward on this team right now. I mean, maybe if Scotty Bonds was in there, it'd be a little bit better. You had a 6'8", 6'9" body to go up against him, but you got 6'6" RJ Barrett out there trying to guard Giannis. That's not going to end well for this team. So I'm going to take him to do pretty much whatever he wants. Love the idea of him getting the triple dub tonight.
Yeah, if Scotty Bonds was in, this would be completely different. But yeah, he's out, and Bruce Brown too as another kind of option to get low on Giannis, given problems, not available. So yeah, he should come out firing, put up stats everywhere. I'll say if you sprinkle on the triple double, you can also sprinkle on 19.5 rebounds, assists. Because I mean, if you're going over, if you're getting 7, 8 assists, if you're getting over this prop, like 13 rebounds is his prop as well. So like, I think that's a conservative way to say, like, maybe he doesn't get the triple double, but he's getting dimes along with the boards. And I'll take Cade Cunningham over 6.5 rebounds for the second bet here. Was looking at rebounds and assists because obviously he's been kind of a triple double machine all of a sudden. But against the Miami Heat, I'd rather target the rebounds, and the price is better. Like, you got to add 9 assists here. I don't trust him to get dimes necessarily against Miami, even though we have no Jimmy Butler here, which is great news for Cade. Great news for him as a rebounder. Just the toughness on the wing is gone almost. You know, Hawk is all right, but he's not the same kind of presence, like physical presence, as Jimmy Butler. Miami's offense is doo-doo, as you like to say, and dead last in 2-point shooting. So lots of short rebounds should be available for Cade, who's really mixing it up. I mean, even more so with Jalen Duren out, but two with Duren out, 2 with him in. We're talking 15 rebound chances per game. We're talking an adjusted rebound chance of 71%, which leads the team. So something that Bickerstaff has done talking to him is like, yo, you're like a 6'9" guard. You have the body type of like a LeBron or a Magic, and it would really behoove us if you were able to grab the board, and then we could push off that or whatever. And so he has been mixing it up down there, 10 rebounds per game in those 4 on the rebound chances, like grabbing most of his opportunities. Miami allows the 5th most rebounds to point guards, 6th most overall. And Cade did get the 8 boards in the opener against Miami. So you mentioned it's up a little bit to 6.5, but I think it should still be 7.5, given the fact that he's approaching double digits in almost every matchup right now.
Yeah, just keep an eye on Jalen Duren. If he's playing, obviously that's going to impact everybody's rebounds on both sides of the ball, including Isaiah Stewart, but he is questionable right now and has been out for a couple games with that foot and ankle, I believe. So there's still the strong likelihood he's out, but I would be keeping an eye on that at the very least. So I'm going to close it out here with LaMelo Ball, who has been doing ridiculous things this season. Over 27.5 points, very high. He took 30 shots last game. He had a 42.5% usage rate. This is not a normal offensive player within a system, if you want to call it a system. So we're going to be seeing Trey Mann, also questionable for this game. So they're losing ball handlers quickly. Might be seeing some Vasilije Micic in there. I believe he's going to be coming off the injury list. That's my guy. You give me Meech props, and I'm hitting. I'm the Meech whisperer. So keep an eye out for my later Meech bets today when they might come out. But for now, we'll stick to LaMelo to get 28. I think getting 30 in this one is highly likely. I'll just say it again. He's averaging 29 shots in the last 3 games. 2 of those without Miles Bridges, who's also out in this one. They're thin. They're very, very thin. I'm only betting them plus 8.5, as I mentioned in the best bets episode, because of how bad this Magic team is. This is just as much to do with how bad the Magic are. I don't think either of these teams should be favored by 9 over anybody, especially not each other, when it's just going to be, trading blows back and forth in what's probably just going to be a real choppy game. But for LaMelo, like, he's coming into a situation where I'm expecting another 25 to 30 shots for him. He is getting to the free throw line enough times to also make you go, he can score other ways besides that 3 ball. And he's also driving to the lane. Like, it's if you look at his shot chart, yes, he loves to shoot above the break. But that's just because that's the most efficient shot for him in terms of the 3. But he's been getting into the lane very much. And if you look at his drives this season, that was another reason for the points. Yes, he actually has been passing a good amount off the drives. Who is he passing to off the drives on this one? There's nobody down low to pass to. You're not giving Grant Williams the ball on the block against Goga Batadze or really, Taj Gibson. So ain't going to be throwing many oops, because I don't know if Taj Gibson or Grant Williams would catch an oop. I know Grant Williams wouldn't. And then you've got, the corner 3. But now we're talking about who's going to be in those corners for him. You've got the Rook, whose name I'm not even going to try to say, that has not looked good yet. He's only out there because he's tall enough to play out there. They don't have any height, so they don't have a choice. They got to play the bigger sort of guard that he is. And so there's nobody else that you're going to put the ball in their hands. It's just that simple. So if you're a pick and roll ball handler, you can make threes, then you're going to be good against this Orlando Magic team as is. And he's just going to be taking as many shots as Kobe used to take. So
yeah, 18 threes in back-to-back games. He's taken at least 12 in all but one game this season and hit at least 5. So in all but one. So I will submit that plus 120 or higher for him to hit 5 is maybe a look to go along with this. Cause like, if he's getting 30 points, he's putting up a ton of threes, especially if there's no Trey Mann. We know there's no Bridges, and it's a Magic defense that's hard to score on the interior. But LaMelo's game since he's been in high school has been, I don't need to go down there. Like, I'll just hoist from back here, and now he can get his shot off even if you're glued to him with the step back. So, worth a look just on volume alone.
Yeah, I mean, that's how the Magic play D. They lay off they single cover the ball handler, and they just don't let you get spot up stuff. So it's why I was a little hesitant to take anybody else, even like Josh Green at 5.5 points, the only other guy besides Brandon Miller that even has a prop up for this very, very injured Charlotte team. But that is all the time we have for you in Play of Props. Best of luck today in the NBA Cup. We are going to be coming back, obviously, the rest of this week and moving forward every weekday with best bets as well as these Play of Props. So make sure to subscribe to that page. Until we see you next, happy betting.